All right, so we're back. My energy's up. I'm not going to spend too much time with this intro, but major news. I had to make a video on it. Guys, Christmas isn't for a couple of months. In fact, usually Christmas falls on the 25th of December, but this year is special. I wrap my presents early. I'm ripping them open on the 18th because Jake Paul and Tommy Fury is reportedly signed and official for December 18th in Miami. I can tell the build is starting to ramp up. You guys are starting to get more excited. I'm telling you, this fight is a very competitive fight. I'm excited to talk about it, so we are not finished yet. And speaking of the word finished, John Fury, that's right, the father of Tommy and Tyson, he was on True Geordie's podcast, The Pain Game, talking to Brian about this fight. So we're going to check out what he has to say. We all know Big John is probably the best promo in the family. He is the one that builds these fights more so than Tyson does for his own fights, and now for Tommy as well. So let's see what we can add to the conversation. True Geordie's The Pain Game breakdown. Let's go.
Speaking of the Fury family, your other son is also boxing, very big name now, Tommy. Yeah. Obviously, he had that experience on reality TV, and his star is growing by the day. Yeah. Where do you see his boxing ability and his potential to go in the sport of boxing?
You know what? The kid, he's got plenty of boxing potential. He can punch, he can box, but he's inexperienced. Mm-hmm. You know, it showed last time out.
He said that Tommy can punch and box. We have seen Tommy punch, right? He can punch, no doubt about it. He's got big power. He comes in. There is no caution to the wind. Tommy's going to come forward and try to hurt you. Or even off his back foot, he's looking to land hammers. The problem I have is him boxing, right? Because he said he can punch and box. I want to see him a little more patient. I don't want to see him crowd himself like he did against Anthony Taylor. I want to see some variety in the shots, not just the uppercut left hook and then the big right hand over the top. I want to see Tommy the boxer, not just Tommy the puncher. So that's kind of a passing comment from John, like, yeah, he can punch, he can box. I want to see that, not just the puncher. I want to see the boxer because it's going to take that.
He's been flung forward to fights what's as big as world title fights, only 7 bouts. Yeah. So we've got to work on his energy first. His mental state walking to a fight and controlling his emotions, really. But can he fight? Of course he can. But if he doesn't fight, he can't beat Jake Paul, I'll retire him there and then.
To the eye.
What did you say?
He can't beat Jake Paul, I'll retire him there and then.
I mean, listen, we heard John Fury say if Tommy were to lose, he was going to smack him in the head with a bamboo stick. Now he doubles down by saying, listen, if he can't beat Jake Paul, I will retire him. Not Tommy's choice. I will retire him myself. John says a lot right there. He says he's inexperienced, his first time on the big stage. He's 22 years old, barely had any amateur fights. All that is relevant, but again, can you make that up in the gym? The experience, the big stage. He's not going to have another big stage before he fights Jake in the main event in Miami. Jake is going to double down on whatever kind of pressure he can force on Tommy because Jake's been here. He knows what pressure is. He has seen it. He's dealt with it. Again, this thing will be competitive, but if you think the only thing that matters is who's the better boxer on this night with this kind of stage and this inexperience between both guys, you're dead fucking wrong.
It looks like it'll be a close fight, in my opinion.
No chance. If it's a close fight, Tommy's retired. If Tommy
said it again,
struggles to beat him, he's retired from boxing.
Wow. I love that Brian gives that answer just a pause, right? Because to hear something like that, I know what he's thinking in his head. He's like, well, fuck me. Am I not seeing something in Tommy? Is there something I'm missing here? Because I do think this is a close fight.
He's a YouTuber. He's got to be knocking Jake Paul out. He's got to box him and knock him out. He's a YouTuber. And I'm not wasting my time with people in the gym because I haven't got a lot of time left at 56-year-old. Unless you knock him out, pal, forget me with the boxing. I'll walk away. Because he's a YouTuber.
It's the easiest thing to do to underestimate Jake because he was a Disney kid or he's on YouTube. They better not. And again, I don't think they will. I think the Fury family is pulling our leg a little bit with this, you're a YouTuber stuff. They're going to take him seriously. But when you see John say it like that, it shows me that I don't know if he's seen a lot of Jake fights, but he truly believes that Jake is not on Tommy's level. And I don't know if that's the case. I don't. But I've seen both guys, and I don't think it's that much different. I'm not going to say who I think is better right now, but also I do see a little bit of John maybe overlooking the fact that Jake is better than just a YouTuber.
I mean, I respect that, but obviously the last guy who he struggled with was not even on the level of Jake Paul to be in reality.
Oh, he was. Yeah, I know me boxing. Him and Jake Paul, he'd be better mover than Jake Paul. I mean, he could avoid a punch better. And I tell you what, he didn't want to do. What's his name again? That fella, Anthony Taylor.
Yeah.
You get a man that don't want to get it and wants to survive and don't want to get knocked out.
It's hard.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
He messed Tommy about. He didn't come to fight. Jake Paul will come to fight.
He's right about that. John, that's not the most flattering pick. Okay, I gotta hold on a sec. He has a point, right? Anthony Taylor was never on the front foot trying to come forward and land big-time shots on Tommy. Anytime Anthony landed is when Tommy smashed into him with almost no regard for the space between them. Jake, on the other hand, was managing that distance, was off the back foot, popping the jab. He was in and out. He was boxing, whereas Anthony Taylor was avoiding. So, yeah, sure, if that's what he means, but I don't think that Anthony Taylor is a better boxer than Jake Paul. I don't believe that. But again, he does make a good point that Jake is going to come and fight Tommy. He's not going to stay on the back foot and just avoid shots all night and let Tommy just come into range and beat him up. But I do think Jake will be more available to be hit because he will throw shots if it's on the attack or the counter attack. And by virtue of just the sport, he will be more vulnerable in those moments. So, sure.
Yeah, he knew more about the fisticuffs than Jake Paul.
The fisticuffs.
Paul's going to find out what it is. Because again, they're looking at what Tommy's done with Anthony Taylor. That's why he's fighting Jake Paul in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, that's why he's took him, because he thinks I can do him.
Because they think they've seen enough to give them confidence.
They've seen enough. But let me tell you something.
It's fair.
Tyson's had many of lackluster performance and then come back and done what he's done. Look at the fight with Otto Walling, comes back and then does Wilder.
Now, Otto Wallin and Tyson Fury, this was a great fight. I don't think the comparisons between Otto Wallin, Deontay Wilder are the same as Anthony Taylor and Jake Paul. And obviously, skill-wise, of course not. But what Big John is trying to get at here is that Tyson struggled with Wallin, but he was good with Wilder. So on any given night, styles make fights. And he's right there. But in Tommy's case, I think Jake is the better boxer than Anthony Taylor. Big John's banking on the fact that he's not. And Otto Wallin came to fight Tyson Fury just like Deontay did. He was just more skilled. Jake's going to come to fight Tommy, and he is more skilled than Anthony. Those two things do work in Jake's favor to a degree. Obviously, like I said, he is open to getting hit because of it.
And I see Tommy splattering Jake Paul all over the ring. And if he doesn't, it's over for him. He knows that. No pressure, Tommy, lad. But let me tell you, it will be called Tommy Fumbles as well.
This is the interesting thing you mentioned about.
He's telling Tommy through the camera to Jordy, no pressure, lad, but you better knock him out in 4 or 5 rounds, or else you will be called Tommy Fumbles. The Furies are known for this kind of thing. Tyson does it to himself. He puts all that pressure on himself. So does Big John. They believe in themselves that much. Is Tommy cut from the same cloth? Literally, yes, he's the half-brother of Tyson and the son of John, but is he cut from that cloth mentally? Is he going to get it? Is it going to sink in? Is he going to be able to answer the call if Jake Paul, the YouTuber, hits him with something big and hurts him, or things don't go his way in those first 4 rounds?
And I think Tommy is kind of being catapulted into this, which can't be easy for the lad. But Jake Paul seems to want to make it even worse. And by Jake putting these big bets on and saying 500 grand and you change your name and all of this sort of stuff, you know, if pressure is something Tommy is maybe not comfortable with, Jake Paul is going to do everything he can to ramp that up.
That is a massive point from Jordy. I said this a second ago. Tommy is going into the most pressure-packed situation he's ever been in, and John Fury himself says Tommy did not do well with that the first time. So when Jake is constantly up in the ante and almost forcing, because he has so much power and so much leeway, he forces Tommy into going, all right, yeah, we'll do a Tommy Fumbles bet for 500 grand. And on top of that, you got your own family going, you better spark him in the 4th or 5th, or your name will be Tommy Fumbles. You'll retire from boxing. You got to go across the pond. And Jake on fight week will be doing everything he can to try to just get a little nugget in Tommy's head, whether it's at the press conferences, interviews, face-to-face, whatever. He's going to do it. We know this. We've seen Jake. Tommy has to handle all that, and then on fight night, show up and perform like a Fury.
Beyond Jake Paul, where does he go from there, in your opinion?
Well, if he gets Jake Paul out the way, we'd like to go for his brother Logan Paul.
That makes sense.
Once he smashes, when he smashes Jake Paul, we'll take on his brother Logan and smash him and all, if he fancied it. But let me tell you, when they see what Tommy does to Jake Paul, they're not going to want it.
So what John said makes sense. Naturally, if you beat Jake, you're going to go and fight Logan. And I wouldn't see it any other way. That would be a natural progression for Tommy. But let's just focus on this one for now. And everything that was said there, my big takeaways are, at least they're acknowledging the fact that Tommy is going to have to work on the way he performs in pressure-packed situations. But again, everything they do in camp, it can be all of the right things. They could flood sound into the stands. They can have actual people come in there and boo the shit out of Tommy. He can go in against guys that are far better than Jake, but on fight night, it will not be the same. That adrenaline, that energy, the crowd, everything will be different, and that's what Tommy's going to have to find a way to wrap his mind around and then go out and perform. I think he can do that. I truly do. I think, like John Fury said, and this is something else I took away, his last performance isn't always indicative of the next one. And that's the same for Jake. Jake did not have a great performance against Tyron. I think you'll have a better one here. But I would say get your popcorn ready, but I'm feeling in the Christmas spirit, so get your candy canes, get your Christmas trees. Someone go wake up Santa Claus's old ass, get those fucking reindeer ready to go, because folks, Christmas is here early, December 18th. Is Tommy mentally ready? Is he going to splatter Jake in 4 to 5 rounds, as Big John says? Or is the YouTuber going to turn Tommy Fury into Tommy Fumbles and prove a lot of people wrong once again? Guess we'll find out.